Hey, what's up everybody? This is C.L.S. all-in-one. In today's video, I will share with you my favorite flat towing setup. So there's a lot of different options you can go with when it comes to flat towing, but I ended up choosing the Ready Brute Elite tow bar made by NSA RV Products because it has a supplemental braking system that's integrated right into the tow bar. So when it comes to most of the flat towing setups, there are 6 basic components needed: a tow bar, a base plate kit, a safety cable set, a wiring kit, a supplemental braking system, and an emergency breakaway stop system. And now I would like to show you everything that's involved with my setup. So I have a 2007 27-foot Class C motorhome with a Ford V10, and the vehicle I'm towing is a 2009 Jeep Wrangler Sahara. And here's how this tow bar braking system works. It has a mechanical surge brake system with a cable that is directly connected to the brake pedal on the towed vehicle. So when I hit the brakes on the motorhome, the vehicle I'm towing will push into the tow bar, which then activates the surge brake, and this pulls a cable that is connected to the towed vehicle's brakes. And here's a look at the other end of the cable where it connects to the brake pedal. Now I will start the motorhome so we can see how this all works. So I will start pulling forward now, then hit the brakes on the motorhome, and you'll see the surge brake activate because the towed vehicle's forward momentum is now pressing against the tow bar, which moves this lever here that is attached to a cable that's connected to the towed vehicle's brakes. And there's also an LED light on my motorhome dash that's connected to the surge brake that shows when the surge brake is in use. And here's an inside view of the vehicle being towed, and you can see that the brake pedal is being depressed every time I hit the brakes on the motorhome. And here's a look at the steering wheel in the towed vehicle, which automatically turns with the motorhome when connected to the tow bar. And right here is an outside view of the tow bar while in use. Now let's take a look at the inside of the motorhome, and here is that LED light that lights up red when the surge brake is in use. I also purchased a taillight wire harness for the towed vehicle, so I can control the brake lights and blinkers with the motorhome. And what this basically is a wire harness that connects the rear lights on the towed vehicle to the trailer lights plug-in on the rear bumper of the motorhome. So right here you can see that I have the flashers turned on and my taillights are both blinking, and I have the taillight wire harness connected. Now I will head to the back of the Jeep and show you that the lights are blinking in sync with the motorhome. And since I do have a bike that is partially obstructing the view of my brake lights, I also added some lights to my bike carrier as well. They just plug into the trailer lights on the rear bumper of the Jeep. And here is a view of all the lights blinking at the same time. Now this may seem like overkill, but when you're driving thousands of miles on a road trip, you want to be as safe as possible. Now I would like to show you some other features I added to make my flat towing experience a little better. First up is a rearview mirror with backup camera support, and I chose to wire this in a manner where the camera stays on full time when the vehicle is turned on, and this allows me to keep an eye on the towed vehicle at all times. And here's a look at that backup camera, which is mounted to the rear bumper of the motorhome. The second feature I added is a portable CarPlay and Android Auto device that hooks up with my car stereo, and this comes in real handy for navigation purposes. And I actually did a review for this specific device, and I'll make sure to post a link to this down below. Now I will show you the process of connecting this tow bar. So you'll want the tow bar connection to be as level as possible between the towed vehicle and whatever's towing it. My Jeep has a Blue Ox tow bar base plate already pre-installed, and it sits at about 4 inches lower than my motorhome hitch. So to level this out, I will use this 4-inch drop receiver made by Blue Ox. And to secure this and all the other parts that have to do with the tow bar, I do like to use anti-theft locking pins because all of these parts are pretty expensive. Now I can slide the Ready Brute Elite tow bar into the drop receiver, then secure it with a locking pin. Next, I need to plug in these wires that are connected to the surge brake to the wire harness for my red LED light on my motorhome dash that indicates when the surge brake is in use. Now the safety cables for the tow bar can be connected to the motorhome hitch on the left and right side. Then the emergency breakaway cable can be connected to the frame of the motorhome. The other end of this cable connects to a breakaway device mounted on the towed vehicle. So, in the event that the towed vehicle becomes separated from the motorhome, this cable will pull on the emergency breakaway device that is connected to the brake pedal on the towed vehicle, which will engage the brakes and bring it to a stop. Now it's time to attach the arms for the tow bar base plate. So these are used to attach the base plate to the tow bar, and these are very simple to use. They just insert into the holes of the base plate, then twist to lock in place. Then the pins for the tow bar clevises can be removed, and the tow bar arms can be unlocked by turning the red handles. Then the tow bar can be unfolded, which on mine is attached by a hook, but on the newer models there's a pin that holds it in place. Now the tow bar arms can be extended out and lined up with the arms on the base plate, then secured with pins on each side. And for this to work properly, you will want the towed vehicle on a level surface and lined up straight with the tow bar. Then the red handles on the tow bar can be turned back straight with the arms. Then with a little push to the towed vehicle, I can lock the tow bar arms in place. Now keep in mind this only works if the vehicle is lined up perfectly, and there's a lot of other methods to make this happen. Another method I like to use is to put the towed vehicle in neutral with the steering wheel unlocked and barely apply the emergency brake. Then I begin pulling forward with the motorhome to lock the tow bar arms in place. Now the safety cables can be hooked up to the base plate, along with the tail light wire harness and the red breakaway cable. So again, this red cable is the breakaway cable that's designed to stop the towed vehicle if it becomes detached from the tow bar setup. Now the supplemental brake cable can be hooked up, and sometimes it's easier for someone to push on the brake, that way you don't have to pull on the loop to get this hooked up. So for the vehicles that can be flat towed, they will have specific instructions you will need to follow in the vehicle's manual. For my 2009 Jeep Wrangler Sahara with a manual transmission, I either have to unplug the battery or pull the brake light fuse because the Jeep's wiring will interfere with my taillight wire harness that is controlled by my motor home. Then my transfer case for the transmission will need to be put in neutral, and you'll want to make sure that the emergency brake is off as well. And after checking your brake lights to ensure everything is working, it's time to start flat towing. So I have now used this flat towing setup on 2 different road trips with a total of over 6,000 miles, and it's been working great. A couple of things to keep in mind is that you cannot back up when flat towing, so you'll want to make sure that you have room to turn around in whatever area you enter, or you may have to unhook the towed vehicle to get turned around. Also, you'll want to try and avoid big dips. For example, if you cross a sidewalk gutter that has a big dip to it, you may bottom out and scrape the bottom of your tow bar, possibly causing damage. Sometimes you can drive over these areas at an angle to avoid bottoming out, but if it's too extreme, you will need to find an alternate route. Okay, it's now time for me to go. If you liked this video, if you could hit that like button and please subscribe. And have yourself a great day, and I'll see you next time.